The scanner beeped 3 times before anyone noticed. Tessa pressed her webbed fingers against the console and watched the readings scroll past. A distress beacon. Old technology. Probably 3 cycles dormant based on the signal decay. Captain Brovik, we have something, she called across the cramped bridge. The Scaleth commander turned from his navigation charts. His scales rippled with curiosity as he moved toward her station. Show me. Tessa pulled up the coordinates. A small planet appeared on the holographic display, rotating slowly. Blue and green with white clouds. Pretty, if you ignored the data streaming beside it. Category Omega classification. Tessa read aloud. Gravity 1.8 times standard. Atmospheric oxygen levels would cause hyperventilation in most species. Active tectonic plates. Extreme weather patterns. Megafauna in the predator class. Multiple toxic plant species documented. Brovik's throat sac inflated slightly. A sign of stress. A death world. The worst kind. Added Chitros from the weapon station. His antenna twitched nervously. Why would anyone go there? They didn't choose to, Tessa said, zooming in on the beacon source. This is a crash site. Emergency protocols activated approximately 3 standard cycles ago. The bridge fell silent. 3 cycles on a death world. Nothing survived that long. The regulations were clear. Death worlds were quarantine zones. No landing. No rescue attempts. Too dangerous. Too costly. The galaxy had plenty of habitable worlds without risking crew lives on poisonous rocks. Biosignatures? Brovik asked quietly. Tessa checked twice before answering. Faint. Very faint. Could be residual readings from the crash. Could be interference from the electromagnetic storms. Could be a survivor. Brovik finished. The crew exchanged glances. Chitros clicked his mandibles together rapidly. The council regulations are explicit. We report the location and move on. Specialized recovery teams handle death world situations. Those teams take weeks to mobilize, Tessa said. If there is someone alive down there, they have days at most. Brovik stared at the rotating planet. His career had been built on following protocols. 30 years of safe, efficient survey missions. But 30 years had also taught him something else. Regulations were written by people who sat in comfortable offices, far from the desperate beeping of distress beacons. Prep the shuttle, he said. Full environmental suits, heavy weapons, medical supplies. We go in fast, extract any survivors, and leave immediately. Chitro stood up so quickly his chair scraped across the floor. Captain, this violates at least 6 different safety protocols. Then I'll answer for it. Brovik turned to face his crew. But I won't sit here knowing we could have helped and chose paperwork instead. Vote now. We're a small crew. Everyone gets a say. Tessa raised her hand first. I vote we try. Chitros hesitated, then raised one of his forearms. Against my better judgment, yes. The other 3 crew members added their votes. All agreed. Brovik felt something loosen in his chest. Fear or relief, he couldn't tell. Set course, he ordered. Tessa, analyze that atmosphere and find us the safest landing zone near the beacon. Chitros, charge the weapons. Whatever lives down there, I want us ready. The ship turned, engines humming as they adjusted trajectory. The planet grew larger on the view screen. Beautiful and deadly. Brovik had seen dozens of worlds, but this one made his scales itch with instinct. His ancestors evolved on a peaceful marsh world with gentle weather and abundant food. This place looked like it wanted to kill anything that touched it. Entering atmosphere in 2 minutes, Tessa announced. Massive storm system over the northern continent. Lightning strikes every 3 seconds. Wind speeds reaching 300 kilometers per hour. Can we avoid it? The beacon is on the northern continent. We could try approaching from the south and swinging around, but those storm patterns shift fast. Brovik gripped the armrest of his chair. Do it. I didn't come this far to get struck by lightning. The ship shuddered as it hit the upper atmosphere. Turbulence rocked them side to side. Warning lights flickered across multiple consoles. The hull temperature rose steadily as friction built up around them. Pressure stabilizing, Tessa called out. Adjusting for gravity. Everyone brace for heavy G-force. Brovik felt the weight slam into him. 1.8 times normal. His bones ached. His muscles strained. How did anything evolve to move in this crushing weight? The clouds parted below them. Dense jungle stretched for kilometers. Rivers cut through the green like veins. Mountains jutted up sharp and volcanic. And everywhere movement. Massive shapes in the jungle canopy. Herds of something huge thundering across plains. Life signs confirmed, Tessa said, her voice tight with strain. Abundant ecosystem. Hundreds of species in scan range. Most of them big enough to crush our shuttle. Where's our survivor? 2 kilometers ahead. Cliff face with a constructed shelter. Definitely artificial. Someone built that. Take us down near it. Careful approach. The shuttle descended through humid air thick with spores and pollen. Brovik's suit systems immediately flagged 12 different atmospheric contaminants as toxic. This place was fighting them just by existing. Then something flew past the view screen. Something enormous with leathery wings and teeth the size of Brovik's arm. It circled once, studying them with intelligent eyes, then dove back into the jungle. Did you see that? Chitros whispered. I saw it, Brovik said. His throat sac had gone completely flat. Land quickly, very quickly. The shuttle touched down on a rocky outcrop. Through the window, they could see a shelter built into the cliff. Clever construction, protected from weather. Good sight lines. Whoever survived here knew what they were doing. Brovik stood, his legs heavy under the gravity. Suit check. Weapons ready. We find the survivor and leave. No exploding. No dilas. Understood. Everyone nodded. The shuttle door opened with a hiss. Heat and humidity rolled in like a physical force. Brovik stepped onto the death world and wondered if he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life. Sweat pooled inside Brovik's helmet before they'd walked 20 steps. The environmental suit worked overtime, trying to cool him down. Around them, the jungle screamed with noise. Howls and roars and chittering sounds that made his scales want to crawl right off his body. Biosign ahead, Tessa said, checking her scanner. 30 meters. Inside the shelter structure. They moved forward carefully, weapons raised. The shelter looked surprisingly sophisticated for emergency construction. Woven plant fibers reinforced with some kind of resin. A water collection system fed into carved stone containers. Solar panels salvaged from the crash covered part of the roof. Hello, Brovik called out. We received your distress beacon. We're here to help. Movement came from inside. A figure stepped out into the sunlight, and Brovik's finger tightened on his weapon trigger before his brain caught up. Not a predator. A person. Young. Male. Wearing clothes made from animal hide and local plants. His skin showed tan lines from the harsh sun, and his hair had grown long and wild. The human smiled. Actually smiled. Well, thank the stars. Real people. Comin. You guys must be dying in those suits. He spoke Galactic Standard perfectly, though his accent was strange. Brovik lowered his weapon slowly. You're the survivor from the crash? Owen Reed, cargo pilot. Well, former cargo pilot. Current professional death world inhabitant. The human gestured toward the shelter entrance. Seriously, come inside where it's cooler. I've got drinks. Tessa made a worried sound. Sir, we should extract immediately. This environment is highly dangerous. Dangerous? Sure, but you flew all this way. Let me at least offer you something. Owen ducked back inside. Brovik exchanged a glance with his crew. The human seemed remarkably calm for someone who'd been stranded 3 cycles on a hostile world. They followed him into the shelter. Inside was even more impressive. Organized storage. A sleeping area with cushions made from local materials. Maps drawn on stretched hide showing the surrounding territory. A small garden growing in containers near the entrance. Owen grabbed a container and poured liquid into carved wooden cups. It's purified rainwater. Took me a while to figure out the filtration process, but it's totally safe now. Tessa's scanner immediately started shrieking warnings. She checked the readout and her eyes widened. This water contains mineral concentrations that would cause organ failure in most species. Really? Owen took a long drink from his own cup. Tastes fine to me. Guess Earth water must be similar. Sorry, should have asked about dietary restrictions first. Earth, Brovik repeated. Your homeworld? Yeah, pretty place. Little rough around the edges. Lots of volcanoes and earthquakes and hurricanes and flesh-eating bacteria. You know how it is. Owen said this like he was describing weather patterns, not apocalyptic disasters. Chitros clicked his mandibles nervously. Your planet has what? Oh, Earth's a bit intense. But you adapt. Owen moved to his garden and picked something that looked like a purple fruit covered in spikes. He bit into it casually. Juice ran down his chin. Every scanner in the room screamed warnings. Tessa looked like she might faint. That plant contains enough alkaloid toxins to kill a scalith in minutes. Owen swallowed and wiped his mouth. This? Nah, it's great. High in vitamin C equivalent. Helps with the immune system. I eat like 3 a day. He offered one to Brovik. Want to try? We're leaving, Brovik said firmly. Right now. Pack whatever you need. We have a ship waiting. What's the rush? Owen looked genuinely confused. You just got here. A roar shook the shelter walls. Deep and primal. Close. Very close. Brovik's weapon came up instantly. Through the entrance, he could see something massive moving through the jungle. Scales like armor plates. 6 legs, each the size of tree trunks. A head that belonged in nightmares. Oh, that's just Stryker, Owen said calmly. He stepped outside and Brovik lunged to stop him, but wasn't fast enough. The creature's head swung toward Owen. Teeth longer than Brovik's arm gleamed in the sunlight. The beast could swallow the human in one bite. This was it. They'd come all this way to watch someone die. Hey, buddy, Owen said, walking right up to the monster. Miss me? The creature lowered its massive head. Owen reached up and scratched under its jaw like you'd pet a domestic animal. The beast made a sound almost like purring. Its tail wagged behind it, crushing small trees with each movement that Brovik's legs stopped working. Tessa made a sound that might have been a prayer. Chitros had all 4 arms raised in a defensive position despite his weapon being completely useless against something that large. Stryker got caught in a trap about 2 cycles ago. Owen explained, still scratching the monster's jaw. Some kind of illegal hunting setup. I managed to cut him free and patch up his leg. We've been friends ever since. Haven't you, boy? Stryker rumbled happily and rubbed his head against Owen's shoulder, nearly knocking the human over. Owen laughed and pushed back against several tons of predator like it was nothing. You befriended an apex predator, Brovik said faintly. A creature that could kill you with one bite. Could, sure. But why would he? I helped him. He remembers that. Owen gave Stryker one final pat. Go on, go hunt. I've got guests. The massive creature turned and thundered back into the jungle, leaving broken trees and deep footprints in its wake. Owen turned back to them with that same easy smile. So, about that extraction. There's a massive storm rolling in from the east. Should hit in about 4 hours. Wind strong enough to flip your shuttle. Lightning that'll fry your electronics. We might want to wait it out here, where it's safe. Safe. The human called this nightmare world safe. Brovik realized with mounting horror that Owen Reed wasn't just surviving here. He was thriving. This death world was his home now. How long until the storm passes? Brovik asked weakly. Oh, maybe 8 hours total. 10, if we're unlucky. Owen grinned. Don't worry. I've got plenty of food and stories to share. You're going to love hearing about the time I accidentally started a fire and had to outrun a flash flood. Brovik sat down heavily on a log bench. His career was definitely over. The storm hit like a living thing. Wind screamed through the jungle, and rain fell so hard it sounded like rocks hitting the shelter roof. Lightning turned the world white every few seconds. Thunder shook the ground. Owen had been right. For hours, almost exactly. Brovik watched through the shelter entrance as trees bent nearly horizontal. His shuttle sat on the rocky outcrop, secured with emergency anchors, but even those looked inadequate against this fury. Beautiful, isn't it? Owen sat beside him, eating another one of those toxic fruits. Terrifying, Brovik corrected. That too. Owen grinned. First storm I experienced here, I thought the world was ending. Now I kind of enjoy them. Makes you feel alive, you know. Tessa checked her equipment for the 100th time. Captain, We should reach the shuttle before conditions worsen. In that, Brovik gestured outside, where visibility had dropped to nearly zero. We'd be swept away or struck by lightning before we made it 20 steps. The humans survived 3 cycles in this, Chitros muttered. Surely we can handle a few hours. They couldn't. 2 hours into the storm, disaster struck. A massive tree, weakened by the wind, came down directly on the shuttle. The crash echoed even over the storm sounds. Alarms blared briefly, then went silent. Brovik ran to the entrance. His shuttle sat crushed under tons of wood. Emergency lights flickered and died. Smoke rose from the engine compartment despite the rain. No, he breathed. No. Owen appeared beside him, assessing the damage with practiced eyes. Hull breaches. Multiple. Your people still inside? The ship was on standby. Everyone's here. Brovik felt his scales go cold. But all our equipment is in there. Life support, medical supplies, communications, environmental suits. Mine is damaged from the tree impact, Tessa said quietly, showing a split seam along her arm. Chitros has a crack in his helmet. Owen didn't waste time on sympathy. Right? Storm should break in 3 more hours. When it does, we salvage what we can. Anyone injured? They checked. Minor cuts and bruises from being thrown around during the impact, but nothing critical yet. The real problem would come soon. The shelter protected them from the storm, but their suits had been keeping them alive in this toxic atmosphere. Now those suits were failing. Tessa was first to show symptoms. Her skin took on a grayish tint. Her breathing became labored. The atmospheric oxygen was too rich for Quellan lungs. Her species evolved on a low-oxygen world. This place was slowly poisoning her. Lie down, Owen ordered, helping her to his sleeping area. Breathe slowly, shallow breaths. That won't help, Chitros said. His antenna drooped. She needs proper filtration. We all do. Captain, request emergency extraction from the main ship. With what? Brovik held up his dead communicator. Everything was in the shuttle. Owen stood abruptly. Wait here. Where are you going? Brovik demanded. To fix this. Owen pulled on a woven cloak that shed water like it was alive. There are plants in the jungle that produce compounds similar to your suit filters. I've studied them. I can make something that'll help. You'll die out there, Brovik said flatly. The storm, the predators, the darkness. Maybe. Owen checked a knife made from sharpened metal salvage from his crash. But Tessa will definitely die if I don't try. So will the rest of you eventually. I walked through worse. He left before anyone could stop him. The storm swallowed him immediately. Brovik stood at the entrance, watching the spot where the human had disappeared. Insanity. Pura insanity. No one survived in conditions like this. 30 minutes passed. 40. Tessa's condition worsened. Her breathing came in harsh gasps. Chitros started showing symptoms too. His mandibles clicked weakly, and he couldn't seem to focus his eyes properly. An hour. Owen didn't return. Brovik felt despair settling into his bones. They were going to die here. All of them. And they'd killed the one person who knew how to survive this world by sending him out in a storm. Then Owen stumbled back through the entrance, soaked and bleeding from a dozen cuts. His clothes were shredded, but his arms were full of plants. Strange twisted vines and thick leaves that glowed faintly in the dark. Got them, he gasped, dumping his collection on the floor. Help me process these. He worked with frantic efficiency despite his injuries, crushing leaves into paste, mixing different plant juices in specific ratios. His hands moved with confidence born from 3 cycles of desperate learning. How do you know this will work? Brovik asked, grinding leaves the way Owen showed him. I don't. Not completely. But I've been cataloging everything on this planet. These compounds are similar to your suit filter chemicals. Close enough to help, I think. He created a thick paste and spread it on cloth strips torn from his own bedding. Press these over your breathing ports. The compounds will help neutralize the oxygen before it reaches your lungs. Tessa first. Brovik applied the makeshift filter to Tessa's face. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then her breathing eased. Color returned to her skin. Her eyes opened. It worked, she whispered. I can breathe. They treated everyone the same way. Within minutes, the crisis had passed. Not solved, but managed. Everyone could breathe again. They'd live through the night. Owen collapsed against the shelter wall, exhausted. Blood dripped from cuts on his arms and face. Brovik sat beside him. "You went into a death world storm alone to save people you met today," Brovik said quietly. "Why?" Owen looked at him with genuine confusion. "Because you needed help. What else would I do? Most species would prioritize their own survival." "Yeah, well, humans learned early that we survive better together. Earth taught us that. When everything wants to kill you, you don't abandon the people beside you. You protect them." Owen wiped blood from his forehead. "Besides, I was already here. Someone had to go." Brovik understood then. Humans didn't survive death worlds despite being fragile. They survived because being fragile taught them to care for each other. Adaptation through compassion. It was brilliant and terrifying in equal measure. Outside, the storm finally began to fade. Dawn broke red and angry over the jungle. Owen stood outside the shelter, checking the damage to the shuttle. Brovik joined him, moving carefully in the heavy gravity that still made his bones ache. "Engine's dead," Owen reported. "Hull integrity compromised in 6 places. Your communications array got crushed completely, but some equipment survived. Medical supplies are intact. Most of your tools made it. Can it be repaired?" Owen shook his head. "Not with what we have here. You'll need rescue from your main ship, which we can't contact." Brovik felt his throat sac deflate completely. A sign of defeat among his people. A roar echoed through the morning air. Then another, and another. Different voices. Many voices. All large. All close. "That's not good," Owen said quietly. From the jungle emerged shapes that made Brovik's blood freeze. 20 creatures at least. Similar to Stryker, but leaner. Meaner. Pack hunters with eyes that gleamed with intelligence and hunger. They moved in coordinated patterns, surrounding the rocky outcrop. "Everyone inside," Owen ordered. "Now!" They retreated into the shelter. The pack circled slowly, making sounds to each other. Communication. Planning. Tessa clutched her scanner with shaking hands. "They're analyzing us," she whispered. "Testing responses. These aren't mindless predators. They're thinking. Can we fight them?" Chitros asked, his weapon powered on with a whine. "Maybe 3 before they overrun us," Owen calculated. "Maybe. Those things are armored and fast. Your energy weapons might not drop them quick enough." The Alpha approached, massive and scarred from countless fights. It studied the shelter entrance with disturbing focus. Then it roared directly at them. A challenge or a warning. Maybe both. "I'm going out there," Owen said. "That's suicide." Brovik grabbed his arm. "Those creatures will tear you apart. They'll definitely tear all of us apart if I don't do something. At least this way, maybe you'll have a chance." Owen picked up his metal rod, the only weapon he owned, completely inadequate against what waited outside. "There has to be another option," Tessa pleaded. "There isn't. Not one that saves everyone." Owen moved toward the entrance. "Stay quiet. Stay still. If this works, they'll leave. If it doesn't, run for the jungle. Split up. Some of you might make it." He stepped outside before anyone could stop him. The pack immediately focused on him. 20 sets of eyes locked onto one human. Owen walked forward slowly. No running. No hosetashchen. He stopped 10 meters from the Alpha. Brovik watched through the entrance, hardly daring to breathe. This was madness. The human was going to die, and there was nothing anyone could do about it. Owen stood perfectly still. The Alpha approached, each step shaking the ground. It lowered its head, bringing those massive jaws close enough to bite Owen in half. The human didn't flinch. He maintained eye contact with the predator. The staring contest lasted forever. Neither looked away. Neither showed weakness. The rest of the pack circled, but didn't attack. They waited for their leader's decision. Owen made a sound. Low and rumbling. Not quite a growl. Not quite a roar. Something in between. A sound that came from somewhere deep in his chest. He straightened his spine, made himself as tall as possible. The metal rod moved slightly in his hand. Ready but not threatening. The Alpha's eyes narrowed. It sniffed Owen carefully, taking in his scent. The human smelled wrong. Not prey, not predator. Something else. Something that didn't fit the categories this creature understood. Then Owen did something that stopped Brovik's hearts completely. He turned his back on the Alpha, deliberately, showing no fear, showing no concern. He walked away slowly, casual, like the predator wasn't even worth his attention. That IT was the most arrogant, confident, insane thing Brovik had ever seen. Every instinct screamed that the Alpha would attack. Prey that turned its back was easy prey. Weak prey. Food. But Owen wasn't prey. The way he moved said it clearly. The way he held himself declared it. This small creature didn't fear the pack because this small creature was dangerous in ways the pack couldn't see or smell or understand. The Alpha watched him go. 5 steps. 10. 15. The pack waited for the command to strike. It never came. The Alpha made a decision. This strange creature wasn't worth the risk. Something about it set off warnings in the predator's brain. Ancient instincts that said this thing survived for reasons that had nothing to do with size or claws or teeth. The Alpha turned away. The pack followed. They melted back into the jungle, leaving the shelter untouched. Owen kept walking until he reached the entrance. Only then did he let out a long breath and lean against the wall. His hands shook. How? Chitros whispered. How did you do that? Earth predators work the same way. Owen said quietly. Show fear and they attack. Show aggression and they defend. But show confidence. Show them you're not worth the fight. That works sometimes. Sometimes they decide the risk isn't worth the meal. And if it attacked anyway? Brovik asked. Owen looked at him with tired eyes. Then I'd have bought you maybe 30 seconds to run. Better than nothing. Tessa moved forward and wrapped her arms around Owen in an awkward hug. Her species didn't normally touch others, but she did it anyway. You risked your life for us. Again? Yeah, well. Owen patted her back gently. That's just what you do. People look out for people. Or in this case, person looking out for aliens who came to rescue him. Same principle. Brovik felt something shift in his understanding. He'd thought humans survived death worlds through some physical adaptation. Stronger bones, or better reflexes, or more efficient organs. But that wasn't it. Not really. They survived through something else entirely. A willingness to face impossible odds for people they barely knew. A refusal to abandon anyone. A kind of stubborn, compassionate bravery that had nothing to do with weapons or armor. IT was a strength that couldn't be measured. But it was strength all the same. Your main ship should notice you're missing soon. Owen said. They'll send rescue. Until then, we wait. Together. Brovik nodded. Together. 3 days passed. The crew salvaged what they could from the shuttle. Owen taught them which plants were safe to use, which water sources wouldn't kill them, how to read the weather patterns. They adapted. Slowly. Painfully. But they adapted. On the 4th morning, Owen's scanner beeped. The old distress beacon. Reactivated somehow. He checked the signal source, and his expression tightened. That's coming from my original shelter, he said. The one I used right after the crash. 2 kilometers north. Why would it activate now? Brovik asked. Wouldn't. Not on its own. Only responds to movement inside the shelter itself. Owen grabbed his knife and the metal rod. Stryker must have gone looking for me. He does that sometimes when I'm gone too long. Probably bumped the beacon trying to find my scent. So we deactivate it remotely. Can't. System's physical only. Anti-tampering feature. I need to go there and shut it down manually. Owen checked his supplies. Plus I should check on Stryker. Make sure he's okay. Absolutely not, Brovik said firmly. That's 2 kilometers through hostile territory. You barely survived going 50 meters in the storm. I've made that trip dozens of times. I know the safe routes, the dangerous zones, which predators hunt when. Owen strapped his knife to his belt. I'll be back before nightfall. Then we come with you, Chitros offered. You'd slow me down. No offense, but you're not built for this world. The gravity alone exhausts you. Owen headed for the entrance. Stay here. Keep the filters fresh. I'll return soon. He left before anyone could argue further. Brovik watched him disappear into the jungle with a sinking feeling. 3 cycles on this planet, and the human moved through it like he was born there. But even natives could die. Owen moved fast through terrain that would kill most species in minutes. He crossed a river by leaping between rocks, the acidic water churning below. He climbed a cliff using handholds he'd memorized weeks ago, avoided a nest of flying creatures with venomous stingers, detoured around a massive herbivore that could crush him accidentally. The jungle was beautiful in its lethality. Every plant evolved to poison or trap. Every animal designed to hunt or to defend with maximum violence. But Owen had learned its rhythms, its patterns. He knew when to hide and when to move, when to challenge and when to submit. Halfway to his destination, he found tracks. Not animal tracks, bullet prints, fresh, multiple sets. His blood went cold. People, on a death world. That meant only one thing. Poachers. He followed the tracks carefully. They led to a temporary camp hidden in dense foliage. High-tech equipment, stasis cages, weapons designed for capturing, not killing. These people hunted exotic animals for the black market. Creatures from death worlds brought premium prices to collectors who wanted to prove their wealth through danger. Owen counted 6 poachers, all armed, all experienced based on their equipment and setup. They were loading a cage onto a transport sled. Inside the cage, injured and bleeding, was Stryker. Rage flooded through Owen. Pure and hot. Stryker trusted him. Trustelmans. And humans had betrayed that trust by putting him in a cage. Smart Owen would have gone back for help. Smart Owen would have found another way. But Owen had spent 3 cycles fighting this planet every single day. He was tired of always being careful, always being scared. Sometimes he just had to make a stand. He circled the camp silently, found their power generator, their communications relay, their weapon storage. Then he went to work. The generator failed first. Quick slice with his knife through the fuel line. The camp went dark. Shouts of confusion. Poachers scrambling for backup power. Owen hit the communications next. Smashed the relay with his metal rod. Now they couldn't call for help. Couldn't warn their ship. Isolated. He sabotaged their transport sled. Damaged the repulsor coils beyond quick repair. They weren't leaving with Stryker. Not today. Then he made noise. Deliberate. Drew them away from the cages. The poachers fanned out, hunting for whoever was attacking their operation. Owen stayed ahead of them, always moving, using the jungle itself as a weapon. He led them past a nest of the stinging flyers. The creatures erupted in angry swarms. 2 poachers went down screaming, covered in venomous insects. He led them through unstable ground that collapsed under their heavy boots. One fell into a sinkhole. His friends pulled him out, but they were more cautious now. Slower, he led them to the herbivore's territory. The massive creature, annoyed by the intrusion, charged. The poachers scattered. One wasn't fast enough. The herbivore didn't kill him, but he wouldn't be walking anytime soon. 3 poachers left. They regrouped at the camp, weapons raised, expecting an army. Instead, they found one human standing in the open, unarmed except for a metal rod. Smiling. "You're trespassing," Owen said calmly. "And you took my friend?" The lead poacher laughed. You? You did all this?" "One person. One human," Owen corrected. "There's a difference." They raised their weapons. Owen didn't move. Behind them, the jungle moved instead. Stryker, injured but furious, tore through his damaged cage. The poacher spun around too late. The creature they thought was helpless showed them exactly why apex predators earned that title. Owen didn't watch what happened next. He freed the other caged animals, deactivated his old distress beacon, gathered supplies from the poacher camp that his crew could use. By the time he finished, Stryker had dealt with the poachers. They'd survive. Probably. Owen didn't care much either way. He checked Stryker's wounds. Bad but not critical. The creature nuzzled him gently. "I know, buddy. I know. Let's get you patched up." They traveled back together. Stryker moved slower due to his injuries, but he refused to leave Owen's side. Protective. Loyal. A bond that went deeper than species or language. The crew saw them coming from a distance. Saw Owen walking beside the massive predator like it was nothing. Brovik realized then that humans didn't conquer death worlds. They made friends with them instead, and that was far more impressive. Rescue arrived on the 6th day. A full Galactic Council fleet descended through the atmosphere like falling stars. Warships and medical vessels and diplomatic cruisers. Enough firepower to level a continent. All for one crash shuttle. Admiral Quinn materialized in a column of light. The Luminaf looked like living crystal, refracting the jungle's sunlight into rainbows. Beautiful and ancient and completely out of place on this violent world. Captain Brovik, the Admiral's voice chimed like bells. We detected your distress situation. What happened? Storm damage, Admiral. Complete shuttle loss. The human survivor kept us alive. Quinn's facets shifted, attention moving to Owen. The human sat calmly beside Stryker, both of them watching the fleet with curiosity rather than fear. This human, from the death world called Earth. Yes, Admiral. The Council has concerns. Quinn's colors flickered toward concerned blues. A species evolved on a category Omega world. The implications are troubling. Some members suggest quarantine protocols. Owen stood, leaving Stryker behind with a gentle pat. He approached the Admiral without hesitation. No diffidence, no fear, just honest interest. Quarantine? Like we're dangerous? Your world is dangerous. You survived 3 cycles here. You defended my officers from predators. You adapted to conditions that killed trained explorers. Queen's Fachet Spoon Foster. That capability concerns civilizations who value peace. So you're scared of us. Owen said it without accusation. Just stating fact. Cautious, Quinn corrected. The galaxy has seen warrior races before. Species built for violence who brought suffering to peaceful worlds. Earth's conditions suggest humans may be similar. Owen laughed. Actually laughed. The sound echoed across the clearing. You think surviving makes us warriors? Admiral, Earth didn't teach us to fight. It taught us to endure. Big difference. Explain. Humans almost went extinct a dozen times. Ice ages, supervolcanoes, plagues, predators. We survived by working together, by protecting the weak, by refusing to leave anyone behind, even when it made tactical sense. Owen gestured toward Brovik. These people came to save me knowing it might kill them. I helped them for the same reason. That's what Earth taught us. Not violence. Compassion. Quinn's colors shifted to thoughtful purple. Yet you defeated armed poachers. Defended against predator packs. You are capable of violence. Capable, sure, when necessary, but it's not what defines us. Owen pulled out his scanner. The battered device he'd used to catalog this world. I spent 3 cycles studying this planet. Not conquering it. Learning from it. Understanding it. I've got data here that could help other species survive in extreme environments. That's what I want to do with Earth's experience. Help, not hurt. One human's intentions don't represent an entire species. No, but they show what's possible. Owen looked directly at the Admiral. You want to know if humans are dangerous? We are. Every species is when pushed. But we're also the people who came to this nightmare world and made friends instead of corpses. We're the people who risk everything for strangers. That's dangerous too, I guess. Just a different kind. Brovik stepped forward. Admiral, permission to speak. Granted. Owen Reed saved my crew 3 times. He could have let us die and improved his own survival chances. Instead, he walked into a storm that nearly killed him. Faced down predators alone. Gave us his food and shelter and protection. If that's what Death World survivors are like, the galaxy needs more of them, not fewer. Tessa joined him. I've analyzed human biology. They're fragile by our standards. Lower poison resistance than Scaleth. Weaker natural armor than Chitros. No environmental adaptations like Quellen. They survived Earth through intelligence and cooperation. Through caring when it would be easier to abandon. Chitros added his voice. The poachers we encountered had better weapons, better armor, better technology. Owen defeated them using knowledge and cunning. He could have killed them, chose not to. That shows restraint most species lack. Admiral Quinn cycled through colors. Processing, evaluating, finally settling on warm gold. The Council will deliberate, but I will personally recommend provisional acceptance. Humanity will be granted exploration rights to frontier worlds. Consultant status for dangerous planetary surveys. Limited, but significant. What's the catch? Owen asked. Planets like this one receive protected status. No exploitation, no poaching, no colonization without proper environmental studies. You want to help the galaxy understand death worlds. We want assurance they remain pristine. Deal. Owen extended his hand. Human greeting gesture. Quinn touched it with crystalline fingers. Agreement sealed. You'll need training, proper equipment, integration with galactic protocols. Quinn gestured toward the fleet. We have facilities on the frontier station. You'll report there within 10 cycles. What about Stryker? The Admiral's colors flickered to confused orange. The Predator? My friend. He's injured, needs medical attention, and he can't stay here alone. Not with poachers around. You want to bring a Death World apex predator onto a space station? Yes. Quinn hummed, a sound like wind chimes in a storm. The galaxy will definitely need to adjust to humans. Very well. We'll establish a habitat zone. But he's your responsibility. Owen grinned. Wouldn't have it any other way. Loading began immediately. Equipment. Supplies. Owen's research data. The crew prepared for departure. Owen stood at the shelter entrance one last time, looking out over the jungle that tried to kill him for 3 cycles. You gonna miss it? Brovik asked. Yeah. Weird, right? This place nearly killed me every day, but it also showed me what humans can do when we stop being afraid, when we start adapting instead of conquering. Owen turned toward the ship. Earth made us strong by being cruel, but we chose to use that strength for kindness. That's the real human advantage. They boarded the transport. Stryker followed. Massive paws leaving prints in the boarding ramp. The jungle watched them go. Silent. Eternal. Waiting for the next challenge. The next survivor. The next story that they lifted off. Owen looked down at the death world. At the beautiful, terrible planet that became his home. He smiled. See you around Terra 7. Below, the jungle continued its endless cycle. Life and death. Predator and prey. Survival and extinction. A death world by galactic standards. For humans, it was just Tuesday.